What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to our Super Bowl edition video here. Believe it or not, it's our last and final one of the regular or postseason, but the NFL season, as it's flown by these last 4 months. But it's the best game of the year, and we're excited. We're going to break down just a little bit of the championship games from about almost 2 weeks ago now, and give a Super Bowl preview and pick our winner. And make sure if you like our content to keep liking the videos at aboutteams.com and on X at About Teams, where you can find more articles and videos. But Colin, I guess we'll start back with the championship games. I think both of these teams really didn't deserve to win, but they pulled it out. Ravens, I think, was a key game of when you shoot yourself in the foot too much.
Yeah, for sure.
The Zay Flowers fumble. It was just a really weird game for the Ravens. They didn't really stick to who they were in the running game. They were always trying to catch to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs only scored 17, and it was like they were trying to play like they were down 28 the whole game.
Yeah, they made a lot of weird mistakes. I kind of agree.
But once again, when we doubt the Chiefs, I mean, it's just been kind of bad. They've proven us wrong. I think their defense is legit. I mean, Mahomes and Kelsey, they did enough in the first half. It was a great game. And then if there's anything you want to add on to that before we get into it?
It's like I'm watching flag football nowadays. I mean, you saw the hit Jadeveon Clowney on Mahomes on one where he was trying to roll out and then he didn't, and then he threw the ball last second, and Jadeveon Clowney pushed him over, and apparently that's roughing the passer now. Like, it's just kind of stupid.
And I saw a lot too with the Zay Flowers taunting call when Travis Kelsey was taunting the whole game.
That was dumb too.
It does make you think, something even more is, going on. Is it the script or the Chiefs just,
proving it's the refs. They got them. They got them how they want them.
Yeah, it's just disappointing, man.
But the Ravens had opportunities to win and they didn't. Yeah. So
I would say those are the biggest two takeaways. Maybe some officiating, reffing in the second part, but I think number one was Baltimore. This game, Lamar Jackson at the one drive in the second half, they were at the Chiefs like 20, and he threw it to Isaiah Likely in double coverage. It's like, I mean, he's calling for the ball, but it's like, it was like triple coverage. The Ravens just shot themselves in the foot. But I guess Lamar's walking away with a second MVP, as we saw last night.
Not really.
But, the Ravens definitely had bigger goals. And then the second game, we almost got the miracle Detroit Lions Super Bowl, but in the second half, it was a total collapse. And I just want to get your thoughts on there was a lot of criticism for Dan Campbell going for in the second half and not taking his field goals. But he argued that he was sticking to his guns, what he did all year, that made the Lions successful as it was. Do you think?
I think the Lions needed to take risks against a team as good as the Niners. I mean, like, what did they expect? They're not even. They're lucky they were even up on them. So I don't know. I think he kind of needed to go for it regardless there. I feel like the Niners would have won no matter what,
Yeah. I mean, they were up 17 in the second half, and then, Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. You don't really see that, but it happened, and just brutal collapse from the defense in the second half. It was a great first half, but Brock Purdy gets it done. Lions, I don't know if you'll be back, but this was a great season, and you definitely have a lot of good pieces to build on. But with that being said, I think we get a rematch of the 2020 Super Bowl. It was a very good game. Patrick Mahomes was rattled for most of the game, really. The 49ers looked like they were going to win up 10 in the fourth quarter before the Chiefs
won. Jimmy Garoppolo, though. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I know that. But, same two head coaches, good amount of the same pieces, although 49ers now have McCaffrey. But
it was Kyle Shanahan that was on the Niners originally, too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, Kyle Shanahan's looking for some revenge as the Chiefs went on. I think it was like a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter to pull away, like 31-20. But with that being said, this is a highly anticipated Super Bowl. A lot of drama, starting with the Taylor Swift and, everything, whether it be good for or worse. But I want to ask you first, who do you have winning, and what do you think, like, some of your keys are to who the winner is and what?
Yeah, 1 second. Shut the door.
Okay, no worries.
I got the Niners. I feel like they're just the better team, and as long as there's not a lot of like stupid calls and like really like dumb play, I feel like if Brock Purdy plays to his potential, I feel like they're definitely the better team. The Niners defense has got to lock in. They got to know it's coming to Pacheco. They have great D linemen. They have great DNs, so it shouldn't be an issue. And they even have a good middle linebacker for that too. So I mean, it should be a cakewalk for the Niners. I know it won't be, but I feel like they're just heavily leaning on the better team.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this though. So the infamous wild card, I had Dallas win the Super Bowl. They out first round. I had the Bills next. They out the next round. Ravens next. They're out. So I've just been on an awful streak. We're coming to Super Bowl picks, but I'm gonna side with you on this one, man. I think the Niners are the better team. I've doubted the Chiefs, and if the Chiefs prove us wrong, then Mahomes is probably going to be up there in the greatest of all time, because if he gets this one done without, really, I mean, a 34-year-old Travis Kelce, he's been good, but Mahomes is just, elevated even more in the playoffs. But I think this 49ers roster is just too good. I mean, you got weapons all over the place. I think George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, we've seen both games. They've been able to put up points. McCaffrey. I think the defense will do enough, though. But my biggest concern is, can they stop the run of Pacheco in Kansas City? Because they've been suspect, at times. The Lions, I think, dropped, like 31 points on them. So it wasn't, their defense hasn't been the prettiest in the playoffs. But I think they'll just get enough stops to get it done. But I see this game being one score.
I agree with you. I mean, like if you go player for player on the Niners, I mean, I feel like the only weak spot for the Niners would be Brock Purdy, but even he plays really well. I mean, look at him during the playoffs. He's like running around. He's not scared of it. He looks confident. Yeah. He looks good. I really don't know what people are talking about when they act like he's a bad quarterback. Or, I mean, game manager. Not seeing it really in the playoffs. Yeah, in the regular season. He does have a stacked team. I understand that, and I get that's why people are saying that. But I feel like Brock Purdy is a confident, good quarterback who throws dots. I mean, he's not. I really don't think he's a bad quarterback at all.
No, I mean, especially it's only his second year, so he's still gonna have time to learn more NFL's defenses, read what they're trying to do. He's still all new to this. Basically, his first full year as a starter, and we signed the Packers game. They're down late, big game-winning drive, down 17 to the Lions at halftime. He's not rattled. They come out, and I guessed almost the exact score right. I had it 34-24. Lions got a late touchdown, so it was a kind of good feeling about how that game was going to play out at least. But he's shown a lot of guts, and he just can't get into that one game we go back to on, I think it was Christmas Day against the Ravens, where he threw like 4 interceptions. If he throws 4 interceptions, the Niners are not winning this game, or even 3. He can't turn the ball over late, and I think if he's put in the same spot as Jimmy Garoppolo was when Jimmy Garoppolo missed a wide open Emmanuel Sanders with the game on the line, down 4, I don't think he'll make the same mistake. But
I agree. I think put in the same situation. I think replacing Garoppolo with Purdy is definitely a good thing for the Niners. I think they end up winning in that situation.
And the Niners
Mahomes only scoring 17, and how much did he score against the team before that?
Who did he play? Was it the Bills? They got like 27, so it's respectable.
Pretty good. I mean, I don't think they have a high-powered offense. Like the Chiefs if it's a shootout, the Chiefs aren't going to be able to compete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the Chiefs' defense, man, that's a top 5 unit this year. They have been, that's how they won 11 games. Chiefs didn't have a good offense this year. Against the Bills, though, they did show out. They got 27 in Buffalo. I'll give them credit for that. And the Dolphins game, I mean, they just kind of dominated the whole game. But we knew the Dolphins were kind of frauds. Yeah. But I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm excited, man. It's going to be a good Super Bowl. I just hope Brock Purdy, just like I said, doesn't have a bad game, and I don't think he will. I think this is the Niners' year to capitalize. Well,
Yeah, they really do. And honestly, I hope they don't like pound the run game too much because Purdy deserves to throw the ball around.
yeah, and I think against this Chiefs defense with Chris Jones and them, like you can't pound the ball like that. McCaffrey's gonna have to make his impact through the air too.
Yeah, I feel like they're better off with like more like a check down kind of shit to McCaffrey, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, but with that being said, so we both have the Niners winning, which means probably the Chiefs will end up winning. Um, knowing our luck, but we'll see.
Hey, I mean, you're combining your bad luck with my good luck, so who knows?
Yeah, maybe we'll get like little something different. But
I'd really like to see the Niners win this. I
me
just
too.
I don't
think
think
they.
Mahomes is deserving of this at all.
I know, I mean, I'm not obviously a Patriots fan, but you as a New England fan, I don't think you want to hear the Mahomes in GOAT talks this early, given how Brady was just kind of considered. But
He's
if
not
Mahomes
even close. He's not even close to Brady, at least. I mean,
if he
whatever.
wins
Compare
this
him to
one though,
anybody else.
if he wins this Super Bowl, there is definitely talk about it. And I know it's
Comparing to Brady, though, no, I don't think so.
well, is he going to be on track? Is the question.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would look like he would be on track, but until he wins, what, 7 Super Bowls, talk to me after he wins 7, and then we'll analyze.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
And even then, even if he wins 7, Brady beat him in the playoffs. Brady beat him in the Super Bowl.
But I mean, looking back at that Super Bowl,
Brady played in a time where if you got pushed over, there was no flags. You weren't getting flags on being pushed over.
Yeah, I mean that part I can agree with you with. But when they matched up in the Super Bowl, I mean, Mahomes had no chance in that game. Obviously, the Buccaneers were the better team, and you just saw Mahomes trying to do his all. Even Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill didn't show up that game. A lot of drop passes. That game, obviously,
I don't think they were looked at as a bad team going into that, though. I think they were still.
Oh, no. I mean, it was like a 50-50 game because the Chiefs were the reigning champs, but they just weren't. The offensive line wasn't ready, and that's when they, tried to make the additions of Orlando Brown just to get that O-line in check more before obviously losing Tyreek. But, it'll be interesting. One thing, unless you have anything else you want to talk about, I do want to go over the NFL awards that were announced last night and see if we agree or disagree with them. We made our picks, but is there anything else you want to talk about in the Super Bowl before we move on?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, so obviously we'll break down the game after and give some off-season topics. It's going to be an interesting off-season to say the least, I think. And then after I want to propose one trade I saw on Colin Coward's show as a Vikings fan and a Patriots fan from your perspective.
Okay.
But with that being said, so our MVP was Lamar Jackson, like we said earlier, getting 49 out of 50 first-place votes, so almost unanimous. He won his first MVP as a unanimous. I think it was like the first one ever, something like that. Well-deserved that year. This year, put up great numbers again, too. Led the Ravens to the 1 seed. Would you have given it to anyone else, or do you think Lamar deserved it?
I think Lamar deserved it. I think that was valid, and after everybody talking about it and like saying Lamar didn't deserve it and stuff like that, I feel like he deserved it a little more.
Yeah, no, I think he did too. You could have made an argument for McCaffrey, just how
bad. You want to OPOY though.
Yeah, so that kind of makes up for it. Yeah, because it's going to be a QB award for the MVP, and I feel.
Yeah, I think MVP. Yeah, I think that makes sense because McCaffrey is definitely the offensive player of the year because he was so effective. But most valuable player is usually the player that controls most of the game.
Yeah, I agree. But then offensive player of the year, I think there's no debate that this is McCaffrey.
For what?
Offensive player of the year,
yeah,
McCaffrey, no debate. Tyreek Hill had a good year, but McCaffrey
not even close to McCaffrey's effectiveness.
Yeah, putting up over 2,000 yards from scrimmage.
He's scoring a touchdown a game, dude. That was the easiest bet you could have made ever.
What was it here? 21 touchdowns. Crazy. Great season for McCaffrey. Well deserved. Can't wait to see him in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Defensive player of the year went to Myles Garrett. How do you feel about this one?
I didn't really see much from him this year. I mean, during the regular season playoffs, he was super ineffective.
I mean, he ranked 7th in sacks, which I know sacks isn't everything, but I think you saw numbers like TJ Watt's numbers were better. Even someone like Deron Bland, you could have argued, just because, this was in Garrett's best season. So I found it weird that he won it. Even like someone like Daniil Hunter, who had more sacks than him and more tackles for loss. This didn't really made no sense to me.
I think that was dumb. I saw that and I was kind of just didn't really make sense.
So I think mine would have gone to TJ Watt or someone like that. Someone just put up better numbers. And I think
especially since they made the playoffs and they were so terrible as a team.
Yeah, I mean, they had Kenny Pickett. They had Mason Rudolph starting a playoff game. And you think, oh, they made the playoffs because of the offense. No. TJ Watt is what gets you there. Hopefully the Steelers can find their QB to get them some help.
I'll watch it.
This next one may be controversial, may not be, just because of the year this receiver had. But CJ Stroud takes home Rookie of the Year. I agree with it. Despite what Puka did, I respect Puka Nakua's numbers. Obviously,
I mean, CJ Stroud just had like an incredible season. I
think at the more important position, I think Puka Nakua obviously was great, yards wise, everything. But I'm gonna give it to CJ Stroud what he did to that Texans roster. No one saw him making the playoffs.
Nobody had a high hope for the Texans this year at all.
Yeah, it was. What he did with Nico Collins, Tank Dell when he was healthy was great. Can't wait.
They're going to be a great team.
Yeah, we're excited for their future.
I'd be scared if I was Patrick Mahomes seeing that team come up.
Yeah, and I mean they were tied with Baltimore heading into the second half, but eventually
that's going to be a tough team to play in the AFC as an older Chiefs team. As Mahomes gets older and
CJ
Stroud gets only on the come. That's going to be really tough for him to win Super Bowls.
Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, that leads into our defensive rookie of the year, which was Will Anderson from the Texans. Not a lot of rookies stood out on defense for me, but this was definitely one of them. I know Devin Witherspoon was up there with Seattle, but I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
He had good advanced stats, so he'll take it. And then this one was interesting. This one was close for me. You had obviously 3 choices for Coach of the Year. Stefanski for the Browns, what he did with Joe Flacco and all those injuries to Nick Chubb. D'Amico Ryans with the Texans. I mean, like we said, development of CJ Stroud. No one expected that. And
no doubt.
I mean, there was also Dan Campbell. I mean, a lot of people were expecting the Lions to jump, but I don't think they expected this. Pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like they only consider regular season when they
it's only regular.
If they considered playoffs, I'd say Dan Campbell, no doubt. But
that's the problem.
The Browns did come back from a lot. They had a ton of injuries and a ton of setbacks, and they still did okay.
I think it was between, like you said, I think people expected the Lions to win around like 11 to 12 games, and they did that. They lived up to those expectations, which is very rare for a Lions team, may I add, but let alone winning 2 home games and almost beating the
NFC Championship, almost going to the Super Bowl. That's pretty impressive.
So, but D'Amico Ryans, what he did in Houston, can't be overlooked, and it was a close finish. So I'm fine with it. I mean, no expected Joe Flacco off his couch to come in and play this good until the playoffs.
Couch.
But
keep hearing the office couch thing. It's so funny.
Yeah. And then I think one of our last awards, Comeback Player of the Year, went to Joe Flacco. I know there's that argument for Damar Hamlin because his story is incredible coming back after a near-death experience, but I got to give it to Joe Flacco because he came back and played amazing.
Yeah, no, I just didn't think Damar Hamlin even remotely deserved that anyway. Like, you got to make plays, so you got to do something.
And with that, I know DeMar finished second, and I would have had him probably top 3, but Baker Mayfield, man, you also could have.
That would be my number 2 for sure.
Yeah,
if not my number 1.
Yeah, I could see him as a number 1 for me too. Looking back, I actually changed my mind. I'd probably switch Baker Mayfield to number 1 for what he did.
I would. Joe Flacco came back for like a couple games.
Yeah, I think Baker played the full season, had some rough patches, but most all was pretty great. He's going to get a payday. Led the Bucs.
Eagles,
destroyed. Pretty much ended the Eagles' little insanity run of 1.5 seasons. But it was a great season.
They fire the head coach?
No, but they fired pretty much every coordinator around. They did get some interesting coordinators, but I still have a very, very large questions about Jalen Hurts and losing Jason Kelce. That tush push isn't going to quite work out for you.
Nope.
Which is good. And then, so with that being said, that's the awards breakdown. It was pretty much besides defensive player of the year, I don't think there was like too much, like robbery or anything like that.
No, not really.
Now, with that being said, our last thing real quick. It just came to my mind. So a lot of people who are watching this probably know Colin Cowherd, an NFL analyst, or like, kind of like a Stephen A. Smith type, does, a lot of breakdowns on teams and has his connections. He proposed this trade. So the Patriots had the number 3 overall pick, Vikings with the 11th overall pick, and Kirk Cousins is a free agent this offseason, and he most likely won't be re-signing back with the Vikings, actually. Colin Cowherd proposed this trade of the Patriots trading down to the 11th pick, the Vikings trading to the 3rd pick, and the Vikings throwing in Justin Jefferson to the Patriots. So the Patriots get a wide receiver 1 and the 11th overall pick, and the Vikings get a top 3 pick to see their QB of the future. I want to get your perspective first as a Patriots fan on this trade, and then my perspective as a Vikings fan.
I'm going to be real. I haven't really liked a lot of what I've seen out of Justin Jefferson. I know he's an extremely talented receiver, but he seems like he's more in it for the money than the championship, and I want a championship-winning player. That being said, taking Justin Jefferson is always a plus. We need a wide receiver 1. And on top of that, you still have the 11th pick. You could probably pick up a good QB still to replace Mac Jones.
Yeah. So
but at the same time, you kind of need the 3rd pick if you really want it. Like, it depends on who the Patriots want as their drafted quarterback. Like, if they need the 3rd spot to do that, I don't know.
Yeah. So what would your final thing be? Yes or no to the trade? Your Patriots.
I'd take it because you still have the 11th pick, and you got a young receiver. It's not like Jay Jettis is Randy Moss's age. When you picked him up, like, he's still young and developable.
Yeah. So with that being said, I would definitely not do this. I think if you want to trade to the top 3, you can do I would rather do 2 to 3 first rounders than this, because you can't, in my opinion, the best receiver in football. Once again, only played 9 full games and had over 1,000 yards. That is insane numbers, with
he's
5 of those games being with Nick Mullins and Jaron Hall. With Kirk Cousins, his first 4 were straight 150-yard games. And I see what you mean. He's going to get a bag this offseason with the Vikings. He wants to be the highest paid player in the non-quarterback in the NFL, but I think he deserves that. He was the offensive player of the year last year.
I don't know if he deserves that. I disagree with that.
I mean, he's on pace to be the greatest receiver of all time with his stats.
No, but I just don't see I don't see him wanting to win championships.
That's where I disagree, though, because I've seen him on the sidelines after losses. All he talks about is winning. And I know, money will talk, but it's really about the guarantees for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important part is incentives, and I think that's what him too. He wants this guaranteed money, and he deserves it, though. I mean, I would rather be paying $35 million for him than $45 million for Kirk Cousins. So so at this point, and plus, like they said, if you don't trade, I would rather have Jefferson and a JJ McCarthy than maybe you get Jaden Daniels, but what if what if Addison can't be that wide receiver 1, even though we saw a good rookie year out of him? I don't know.
It'd be dumb for the Vikings to get rid of Jefferson because you already have a young Addison too. Now you have 2 stud receivers. You have a good tight end too. Don't they have a good tight end now?
TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, they have TJ Hawkinson. Just pick up a quarterback in the 11th round, in the 11th, if you can, and maybe
it's
get
kind
a
of
good
like a Brock
back.
Purdy situation. It's kind of like, I hope we sign him this offseason. That's kind of the one area we're lacking. Right? Yeah, because I think our starting running back was ended up being Ty Chandler a lot towards the end of last year because Madison wasn't working out.
Yeah.
But I've seen reports maybe a Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, but that'll be speculation for the offseason.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah. But like I said, I think if I was him, I would just get a JJ McCarthy, kind of have a Brock Purdy situation, go to a stacked offense. Just let him
Game
cook.
manager.
Doesn't need to be like Caleb Williams for this team. But
yeah,
I'd love Caleb Williams if we
You
got
think
him.
the Bears are grabbing Caleb?
I think they have to. I would not get Justin Fields. I would not stick with Justin Fields.
You think they're dropping Justin Fields?
They have to. Why would they keep him? They should trade him. Some team will
I don't think it's his fault, though.
I call him Bustin Fields because he goes through these stretches where he'll play great for 4 games and then suck like the next.
Put him on the Patriots. We'll take him.
Yeah, I mean, could he still develop? Yes, but like so far for me, he's been kind of a disappointment. But we'll figure it out.
Fair.
If I was the Bears, I'd take Caleb Williams. I think one of the greatest college quarterbacks we've seen in a while.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's a better prospect than Trevor Lawrence. I know some of his ego stuff may be concerning.
I hate his ego stuff. It's so annoying.
I think it'll get figured out by whoever drafts him, and it better be because the ownership thing I think is a joke. I don't think he actually wants ownership in the team that drafts him.
I'd hope not.
We'll see. It'll be exciting if he does. But yeah, with that being said, unless you want to add anything, I guess we'll watch the Super Bowl and then have our first off-season episode next week.
Damn right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Like I said, if you like our videos, make sure to liking and subscribing as we continue to grow this channel, and catch you in the next video.